Hello! Today we're going to be looking at a technique called under the stones, which is a very flashy way of sacrificing stones, which is useful in some cases. It doesn't come up that often in real games. Sometimes it does, but it's quite rare, so most of the times you're going to see it's going to be in Go problems, probably. But it does also come up in real games sometimes. So let's start by looking at this position here. We have these 4 black stones in Atari, and this sort of clump of black stones is one of the telltale signs of under the stones technique coming up. It's also the reason why this isn't seen that commonly in real games, since this shape is not that common, but it can be created in some situations. But here these 4 stones are in Atari, so if black connects them, white connects, black is dead. So to survive with this group, black instead should sacrifice these 4 stones, let white capture here, and then play under the captured stones. So the sort of idea is that we have just removed these 4 stones from the board, and then we sneak in under them again and play this cut, and then we can capture the white stones, and black is alive. So this technique to sacrifice a number of stones, not always in this shape, but in some shape, and then be able to make something happen in the area left behind when we remove them from the board. So there will be 12 problems to practice this technique. They range from quite easy to quite hard, and there will be a 5-second timer for each. If you need a bit longer, just pause the video and take your time. It's very good for all these problems to try to read them out completely. Don't just guess the first move. Like in this case, if you see the shape and get, oh, I think it's this one, it's better to try to visualize completely to the end what is going to happen and make sure that black actually is alive, or whatever the result is. So for this one we have a similar situation where this group has one eye here, but to make a second eye, black is going to need to make something happen on the left here. Even though these 3 stones just have 1 liberty and these 2 white stones have 2 liberties, which means that no matter how black plays, black is going to get captured. But by playing like this, black creates a space here, which is big enough that when black cuts here, white can save these 2 stones. Notice that if white had a stone here or here, this wouldn't work. So, for instance, of course, black can't play like this one. This is completely not working. Black needs to attack from this side, white captures, and then black can come in under the stones and capture these 3 stones. And this will be a real eye. Here, black should not capture these 2 stones, even though black has the chance, because then white comes here and black just has 1 eye. So instead, black should make an eye in the corner, ignore the situation going on over here, let white capture, but black can capture back under the stones. And black is alive. Here, black has the choice of capturing these 2 stones, but this is a mistake because white can throw in, and no matter how black plays, it's going to be reduced to 1 eye. So instead, at this point, black should actually connect, sacrifice these 4 stones, and it's the same shape we've been looking at the last couple of problems. Black is alive. Here we have once again this clump of 4 stones, which we saw in the first example problem. So these are going to be sacrificed, and we will do something under the stones, but the question is, how do we set it up? If we Atari from this side, then white captures and there's nothing to do. So the correct move is to Atari here, white captures. Here, this 1 stone is in Atari, but we don't need to save it. Instead, we will cut here. White is in Atari with this. The only thing white can do is possibly capture here, but black can just come from this side, and white is just completely dead. So Atari, and then Atari here, capture these 3 stones and make sure there is no eye in this area. Here again, black has kind of 2 reasonable choices. You might try to just capture here, but then white can Atari here. And now this is a false eye, and black's only hope is to start his ko. But when white capture here, there's no ko threat, so black is just dead everywhere. So instead, black should connect, sacrifice the 4 stones, and come back under the stones to make second eye. This one is very similar to the last one, but with the colors reversed. So it looks like there's no way for black to kill this group, because black can capture here, but white is going to capture back under the stones. But there is actually something black can do, since black has this stone here. Black can hane, and if white captures, it's just 1 eye. If white responds, now when black comes here, this is Atari on these white stones, so white can't capture under the stones because white just capture. So here black captures, white will need to capture here, and black can connect, and white is dead. So by playing this hane first, black is able to kill the white group. It's important to do it directly instead of if black first captures and then plays the hane. It's true that white still can't take the eye here, but in this case white can capture and is actually threatening to make another eye down on a5. So here black needs to remove that eye, and then white can come here. Or if black removes this eye, white comes here. So the order here is important. Start with the hane and then capture here. Here there are 2 ways to live. There's the boring way to live, which is to play here. And there's the more fun way to live, which is to play here, sacrificing 4 stones and taking them back under the stones. So why is this the correct solution? Is it just more fancy? Well, actually this one is better for points. So if black comes here, let's look at it in area scoring. So let's just look at the area covered by black stones and black territory. We have a 2x5 area here, so 10 points, and then plus 1 extra here. So black has an area of 11 points. And let's compare this to coming here. Like this, you see that black has an area of 12 points, because we can imagine moving this stone here to here, and it's a 3x4 area. If you want to do it in territory counting, I leave that as an exercise, but I thought that was easier to see. This is actually better in points to play here and sacrifice 4 stones. Once again, it's quite obvious that there will be some under the stone shenanigans with these ones, but it's not entirely clear how we're going to set it up. If we Atari like this, white is not going to just capture simply and let us live like this. Instead, white is going to play here, which sets up a snapback, where we can cut under the stones, but there's a ko. Black can't connect here, so black needs to capture white, and then there's a ko, there's no ko threat, so black is just dead. So to avoid all of that, black should instead play this point immediately, which also threatens to live like this. So white is going to capture, black can force white to save these 2 stones and live. So in this case, it's sort of, we are not actually capturing under the stones, but we are using the fact that we could capture next after this move. So we are threatening to come back under the stones, and then we are living. Here we have sort of the classic under the stone shape. This actually comes up quite a lot in real games, or like it rarely, but it comes up sometimes in real games. Because you see, in this case, there is no like clump of 4 stones. This is the closest we have, and we're going to kind of, from this, we're going to make the clump of 4 stones ourselves. And why do we do that? Well, if we just connect here, black is dead. There's not enough space to make 2 eyes. So black should block here to make this eye in the corner. And white can play this to CG, which makes it difficult for black to keep the eyes, because now if black connects, no eyes. So black is going to capture, white is going to Atari, and if black captures, then white Ataris, and it's dead. So black needs to sacrifice the 4 stones and capture under the stones. And black is alive. So what's kind of nice about this is that it's sort of from this point on, we see that black voluntarily makes this clump of stones. Sometimes black is forced to do that, and then we get this under the stone shape. In this problem, we're actually going to, the goal here for black is actually to kill white, believe it or not. Even though white has all this eye space up here and here, it's possible to kill white completely. So if black comes here, white is just alive, of course. So instead, black is going to start with this cut. White is going to capture the cutting stones. Black is going to make the sacrifice even bigger like this to remove the eyes. If black plays down here now, white has 2 eyes up here, so it's no use. So black is going to sacrifice even more, but this is a shape where black can come into the vital point. And this is sort of the under the stones aspect, where these 4 black stones were just removed, but black can jump in. And black hasn't captured anything, but black is threatening to capture here next. So if black comes here, if white comes here, black can cut. White is dead. So coming in here is actually center. White needs to respond, and then black can connect down here, and white is reduced to 1 eye. So this cut here, it doesn't kill anything. Its whole purpose is to reduce this whole area up here to 1 eye in center. So the only way for white to actually save these 2 stones up here is to play this sequence with Atari, and then connect. And when all that is done, there's just 1 eye up here, so black can come down, and white is done. Here it's once again, black's goal is to kill white actually. So if black just plays here, white can just live like this. If black captures these 2 stones, it might look pretty good, but I mean, of course, black is winning on points, but white is still alive, so black can do even better. So the correct solution is actually to play here, which looks very counterintuitive, because if black plays here, black can kill these 2 white stones and live with this. By playing here, black is sacrificing these 3 stones, and black once again makes the sacrifice even bigger, sacrificing 4 stones. But this is all to reduce white's eye shape, so that black can come in here, reduce white to 1 eye in center, and then remove the potential to make another eye down here. And also black needs to remember to make 2 eyes for this group, so that it doesn't become a seki. One thing to watch out for here is if black plays here and white pushes down here, black should now cut here. Black should not play here, think that okay, I can still remove this eye, because now when white connects, it's true that white only has 1 eye, but black also only has 1 eye. So in this situation, this will actually become a seki. Correct here for white is not to take this liberty immediately, because then black just kills, and instead white should reduce black's liberties like this, and similarly black should play inside like this to reduce the liberties of this group, and in the end it will just be a normal boring seki. So to avoid that, when white pushes here, black needs to come here, take these 3 stones, and remove white's eyes like this. And of course there's no under the stones here, this is a different shape where white can't cut. This is not really a great problem because it's quite easy to kind of guess the first move, given the theme and so on. But I thought it was an interesting flashy finish. So yeah, by process of elimination, obviously this one doesn't do anything. If black passes, then white can just connect here, it doesn't do anything. So it must be this move, which is the first move. But once again, I encourage you to read it out if you haven't yet. Try from this position to figure out why is this doing anything and what is going to be the end result of the sequence. So here, of course, white's only move is to capture the whole black group. So black just sacrificed 7 stones, but there is still something black can do under these stones, which is to play this cut. And what's tricky now is that white can't actually capture this cutting stone. If white Atari is like this, white can play this Atari, and white can play this Atari. So white can just connect here or something, but then black can capture these stones, and white is dead. So white can try Atari from this side, but once again white can play Atari here, white can play Atari here. So the best white can do is to connect. This makes an eye here, and now black can't approach any of these groups. Black can play A1 or C1, runs out of liberties, but white also can't play A1 or C1. So this is actually a seki. Here both sides are going to pass, and this is the end of the game, but black has managed to, by creating these alive stones inside white's area, black reduced white's points, compared to if all this were to become white's territory. So it was just an interesting flashy finish, one of the biggest under the stone sacrifices we've seen so far, 7 stones. There are even bigger ones, but we'll save that for another time. This is probably one of the biggest ones you can set up on a 5x5 board at least. So I hope you enjoyed those under the stones problems, and thank you for watching.